Chapter 17. The Youth Club. It was 7 p.m. on a Friday evening, on what felt like a tropical evening in Yorkshire, as the heat wave continued. The usual rowdy rabble had gathered outside the Braithwaite and Winfield Youth Club. The building was your typical bland 1970s architecture, designed to serve its purpose and nothing else. Standing back from the haphazard queue was the infamous Lemon Drop Gang, who were waiting for the right moment to approach and sell their special product. This could prove to be tricky, as they had to get to the kids before they hit the sweets and pop bar and spent all their money. A double whammy was the youth club leader, Big Mary, as she heard and saw everything and had a network of spies and snitches. But the target-rich environment made it more than worth the risk. "What about now, Simon?" asked Jensen. "No, dude. It's too risky. Softly, softly, catchy monkey," answered Simon, who was dressed just like James Dean and was playing his role to the full. He handed the bag of special sweets to Dippy, then glowered and spoke like the movie star. "Here, hide them in your pockets. You're less likely to get searched, boy."
"No problem, Simon. You can count on me,"
said Dippy, as he placed the sweets deep into his pockets. It was Dippy's first time at a youth club, and he too was dressed for the occasion in black disco trousers with matching unbuttoned shirt and waistcoat, and of course it was all topped off with the obligatory medallion. Yes, he did look absolutely ridiculous, but it was the 70s, and we all did. We just didn't know it at the time. And there's evidence to this day of how bad the fashion actually was. Simply because fashion from every decade always returns, because it looked good in the first place. But not from the 70s. That will never return. Big Mary opened the youth club doors, and Simon snapped into action.
"Right, Dippy dude, get yourself in there, and try not to look too suspicious. Go, go, go." Roger that, Simon."
And off he went to join the queue, and his heart raced. He was so excited that he could hardly pull the 2p piece entrance fee out of his pocket. And just as Simon predicted, Dippy had no trouble getting in, unlike the rest of the boys, because Big Mary had already been informed about the infamous Lemon Drop Gang. So the boys were searched, but nothing was found. She huffed a little as she waved them in, because she knew that her informants were never wrong. But the night was young, and she also knew that they were bound to slip up at some point. Harry, Jensen and Simon strolled in like they owned the joint, and all heads turned towards them. They had the flares, they had the flowery shirts, and of course they now had the biggest of all platform shoes, which were a bit of a struggle to walk in if I'm honest. But they also had money in their pockets, and everybody knew it. Boys wanted to be them, girls wanted to be with them, because they were the infamous Lemon Drop Gang.
"Hey, Tutti Frutti,"
said a kid that Jensen didn't even know, so he just smiled at the little people.
"Hi, Cream Puff,"
said a girl dressed in a cheesecloth blouse with bell-bottom trousers.
"How's about a freebie tonight?"
she asked. "No freebies tonight, or any other night, girlie. Move along there, please," replied Harry, grimacing more than a little at the nickname that he was now stuck with.
Don't worry about it, dude. We're laughing all the way to the piggy bank.
Yeah, I suppose so, Simon, conceded Harry. Then the music kicked in, with the thumping bass vibrating right through their bodies. It was time to grab some pop, take a seat, and just be cool. The hordes of kids at the Pop and Sweet Bar parted for the gang, as though Moses himself was going to buy some Tizer. Big Mary was watching them like a hawk. "I'll have the buggers yet," she mumbled to herself as she collared one of the smaller kids who was wearing glasses and an eye patch. "Follow them, listen to them, and report any suspicious activity back to me. Have you got that, young'un?" she said, as she slipped her spy a 5-pence piece to get himself a Caramac bar. So the gang sat down at the best table in the youth club and soaked up their popularity and watched as the lesser people milled around, doing their thing and being who they were. There was the awkward, unpopular kids, the middle ground kids, and of course the elite kids. But this isn't just true in childhood and adolescence. Next time you find yourself in a busy place, just take a look around and you'll see that like attracts like, even in adulthood. And of course, it goes without saying that Harry, Simon and Jensen were at that time definitely the elite kids. But where did that leave Dippy? That was a good question. They were super cool, and Dippy was hanging on to their coattails. Not quite on the crest of the wave, but certainly in their slipstream. But with a bit of training, he could almost be their equal, maybe.
"Hey guys, come to think of it, where's Dippy at?" asked Simon, more than a little worried, as he had all the product. He looked over to the kids at the sweet counter, then at the kids playing table tennis and pool, and then he checked out the dance floor. But he knew there'd be nobody on that, as even the uncoolest of kids didn't dance until the 3rd or 4th song. He couldn't quite see the dance floor, but unusually, there was a large crowd gathered around it, and they were laughing, clapping, and cheering at something.
"I wonder what's going on over there, guys,"
shouted Simon, as he nudged Harry and Jensen to get their attention over the thumpingly loud music of Shang-a-Lang by the Bay City Rollers.
"Can you see what all that commotion's about? And where the hell is Dippy? We don't want him going missing." "I'm sure you don't, Simon, and I bet he's touched by your concern," replied Harry.
"I'm only concerned about the special sweets, man."
"I do know that, Simon."
Harry and Jensen looked around, but they couldn't see Dippy either. And then their attention was also drawn to the dance floor. But they had a clearer view than Simon, and they could see a pair of arms flailing around in time to Shang-a-Lang. "Somebody's broken the golden rule there," shouted Jensen over the music.
"Oh my God! Social suicide or what?"
added Harry. And then it clicked, and as quick as lightning, the 3 boys jumped to their feet and made their way to the dance floor. But it was too late. The fast-moving flashes of white could only mean one thing. Dippy was on the dance floor, and he was dancing as though his life depended on it.
"Look at him go," said one kid.
"He's got the moves," said another.
"What a twit,"
added another. The small crowd then noticed that standing there was the rest of the infamous Lemon Drop gang.
"Aren't you going to have a boogie with your friend?"
shouted a kid. "Yeah, show us your moves," moves, shouted another. Then one kid after another started chanting,
Give us a dance, give us a dance, give us a dance.
All the kids, no matter what their social standing, knew that Dippy had committed one heck of a social faux pas, and as is human nature, they were happy about it, because one person's mistake was another person's elevation to a higher social standing. Aren't people wonderful? So Harry, Jensen and Simon beat a hasty retreat. In less than 1 minute, all their cool had gone, for one reason and one reason only: their association with Johnny Dipp.
He's been at the special suites, hasn't he? Said Jensen.
I'd say it was more than a possibility,
agreed Harry.
If he has, dudes, it's coming out of his wages. Rule number 1. Never touch your own product, hissed Simon.
The boys skulked in the darkest corner and waited for Dippy to stop dancing. But on he danced. One song after another. Casey and the Sunshine Band, Slade, Sweet, and then his absolute favourite, Hot Chocolate, You Sexy Thing, where he wiggled and jiggled and writhed around. But the odd thing was, he wasn't actually a bad dancer at all. In fact, he was very good. His moves were right on the beat, just like one of Pan's people from Top of the Pops, if you didn't know that. The dance floor had now filled up, but all the other dancers were just stepping from side to side, doing the unimaginative and rather boring Winfield hop, as we called it. Even in the nightclubs today, you see the older dancers doing that dance. But Dippy was different. He was streets ahead of those kids, and a few of them were now beginning to realise this. There was even a group of kids trying to copy him. He was slowly but surely climbing back up the ladder of popularity. But did he care? Absolutely not. He'd never been cool and never wanted to be. He just didn't understand it at all. He thought it was all so stupid, and of course, he was right. Some 2 hours later, it was closing time at the Braithwaite and Winfield Youth Club. The music had stopped, and Harry, Jensen and Simon made their way to Dippy, who had finally finished dancing. They ushered him over, as it was now time to do some business. Though they knew the dancing was down to the special suites, they just hoped that he actually had some left over to sell, as per their original plan.
How many special suites have we got left, Dippy dude? Asked Simon. Same as when we came in, replied Dippy, breathlessly. You mean you haven't been eating any? Asked Harry. No. Why, just that.
Simon, Jensen and Harry all looked at each other, because to them it was obvious. No sane person would dance like that in front of all those people without some kind of stimulant.
Well, what was with all that dancing then, Dippy dude? Asked Simon. I like to dance, he replied, as though it was the most normal thing in the world.
But in front of all those people? Didn't you care? Asked Jensen.
I dance in my bedroom all the time. What's the difference?
Well, the people, watching you and taking the piss.
They're only people, Jensen. Why should I be bothered about people? They're just like sheep or bananas.
It was a good philosophy, and you couldn't argue with that. But Simon had had enough of all these frivolous shenanigans and took back control.
Hand me the sweet scent, dude. There's not much time left,
So let's get on with the selling, guys.
Dippy handed the sweets to Simon, and off he went to the crowd of kids that were making their way to the doors. The coast was clear as they'd outfoxed Big Mary, so better late than never, they were back in business.
Softly, softly, catchy monkey, works every time, said Simon smugly.
The youth club tannoys squealed into life, and Big Mary made an announcement.
Make your way to the exit. Form an orderly queue. No pushing, no swearing, and no fighting. Oh, and Simon Snade and the Jelly Baby Gang. No selling your magic sweets tonight, please.
Simon stopped dead in his tracks. Everybody turned and laughed at him. Big Mary had outwitted and humiliated them. The kid with the eye patch scoffed his Karamak bar triumphantly, and there would be no selling tonight. But minor hitches aside, times were still good. We'd hit the big time, and we were set for life. Or so we thought, because of course it didn't last. Nothing goes well forever. And how did it all go wrong? Well, it wasn't sudden or dramatic. Sales just started to drop. Kids were becoming immune to the effects of the caffeine, sugar, and the secret ingredient, which is soon to be revealed. The biggest killer of all was the lack of customer finance. Children didn't get much pocket money back then, and the business was simply unsustainable. Our millionaire lifestyles had lasted just 4 weeks, in which we spent all our money and were bored of all our toys. They say you can never have too much of a good thing, but our customers did, and like a house of cards, it all came crashing down. But my God, for those few weeks, we had the best time of our lives. And even today, when I walk into the same toy shop, I still get that feeling of wonderment as I look into the eyes of my children.